Alright, lesson number 1. We often hear to take 100% responsibility for our life because it moves you from victim to victor mentality. Now you need to remember this thing, that life is not something that happens to you. It is something that happens because of you. Because we are making choices, taking decisions consciously or unconsciously, and that's why the results we are getting in our life because of our choices and the actions we are taking. On taking full responsibility of your life also means that you are in full charge of your own destiny through your own decisions. It means you are sitting on a steering wheel instead of you are on a passenger seat. Taking responsibility of your life also means living a life with purpose and intention. It means that you have a very clear idea about what you want out of your life. The most important steps to taking responsibility for your life is to stop blaming others, because if you are blaming other people, you are not taking responsibility for your life. If you are blaming other people and other circumstances for your own misfortune, that means you are not taking complete responsibility for your life. Now once you start taking full responsibility for your life, that you start achieving your goals, you get rid of uncertainty, and you start getting into better body shape, you start becoming financially well off. Now understanding all this, make it a life mantra. You have to repeat it day in and day out, that life is not something that happens to me, it is something that happens because of me. I am willing to take 100% responsibility for every action and condition of my life. Just you have to repeat it day in and day out. Once you start repeating these statements, and then you start taking responsibility, start taking right decision, you start making better decision. Lesson number 2, everybody is not your friend. Just because they hang around with you, laugh with you, have a good time with you, does not mean that they are your friends. And if you don't believe it, maybe because of you have not gone through that phase, that situation in your life yet, where you realize that everybody who hang around with you is not really yours. Most people, they have fake smiles on their faces, they have masks on their faces. Real situations expose fake people. So everybody who hang around with you, laugh with you, is not really your friends, is not really yours. Lesson number 3, motivation is garbage. Just motivation doesn't help. Motivation is just what you put in the game, but what you will need to win the game are skills, strategies, expertise and preparation. As I always mention, that there are 2 types of motivation: external motivation and internal motivation. You can be motivated externally just by reading a book, attending that events or seminars, or watching that YouTube video, or listening to that inspirational talk, but this is not the type of motivation that lasts long. The only type of motivation that lasts long is internal motivation, and the internal motivation comes from within you. It aligns with your core values, it aligns with your life purpose. See, clarity is everything. When you are not very clear about why you do what you do, then I think you will need motivation dose from time to time just to push yourself. But if you are very clear about why you do what you do, if you have purpose in your life, then I don't think if you have a lot of external motivation just to push yourself, just to push your limits. So have clear vision in your life, have a purposeful life, seek meaning in your work. This is the type of motivation that will help you to push your limits, to get ahead in life. Lesson number 4 is stop managing your time. You cannot manage your time. When people talk about time management, it sounds like to me that they have control over time, but the fact is that you cannot manage your time. You cannot make it go faster, you cannot make it go slower, neither you can increase the amount of time nor you can add more of it. Instead of thinking about time management, why don't you focus on your priority management? And your priorities are your most important task, are most necessary tasks that matter most to you. Now if you have heard the rule of 80-20 principle, that states 20% of your task produce 80% results, and 80% of your task produce only 20% results. For example, there are 10 tasks in your to-do list, so there must be 3 to 4 tasks that are most important and producing more results, and there are the other tasks that you can delegate, you can delete, or you can do them later. But there are just a few tasks that you can do first, and if you do them first, then they produce the maximum amount of productivity. Lesson number 5, critics are signs that you are going great, that you are on the right path of your success. Critics are losers. Most of the time they are your dear ones and loved ones. So why do people hate? They see you as a threat, they see you as a tough competition, they see you as a challenge to override, and that's why they hate you, because your abundance highlights their deficiencies. Once you start following your dreams, once you start living a purposeful life, then there are some people are not going to like you and even jealous of your success, even envy you, because of you are doing doing something different, then society don't follow. And when you do something different, then there are some people are not really going to like you, but that's okay, because these are the signs that you are stepping towards greatness and you are stepping towards success. These people are doing this because of they are not taking enough action. They are not doing something different. They have no purpose, they have no vision, they have no goals in their life, and that's why they hate you. So instead of wasting your time arguing with these people, spend your time producing great results and just be omnipresent. Channelize your effort, energy in your work so that you can produce massive amount of success, because once somebody told the best revenge is massive success, and once you start creating great results, then these people somehow come to you asking your advice, taking pictures with you, and all these things will happen when you start following your dreams and start taking massive actions towards your goals, towards your vision, and towards your dreams. So do not worry about those who talk behind your back. They are behind you for a reason. Some people are liking this piece of content, some people are hating. So what is the reason that why some people like, why some people don't like? And it is not the article itself, it is how people perceive, it is how people view the world. Different people have their own different psychological makeup, their upbringing, their different programming, their different conditioning, and we will never know that what's exactly going on in other people's life in current situation. We never know, and why, what influenced them to do that. Lesson number 7, you cannot please everyone. You don't need everyone to agree with you or even like you. You don't need to seek validation and approval from other people for doing what you do, because you cannot please everyone no matters how hard you try. The more you seek approval from others, the more you will never have control over your own life. If you constantly live for others instead of yourself, eventually you will end up forgetting who you are. You cannot please everyone, and doing so is something you will end up regretting. Stop being a people pleaser, because you cannot please everyone no matters how hard you try. Lesson number 8, your health is your most valuable asset. If you have ever got sick or injured, the only thing that you want right at that moment is to get healed and feel better. Your diet is not what you have on your plate. Your diet is what you consume. Your diet is what type of people you hang around with, what you consume in information form on social media, what types of books you read. 2 things I ask from God in my prayer usually. It is just 2 things. First is health and the second is wisdom, because I personally believe if I have these 2 things, that I can achieve almost everything. It could be materialistic thing or it could be anything, just of these 2 weapons. Because if you are healthy enough, you can do anything, and if you are wise enough, you can make smart choices, you can take better decisions. So take care of your health, your mental health, your spiritual health, and your physical health. Lesson number 9, you cannot play it safe, hiding, and can make a difference in the world. If you want extraordinary result, then you have to do all the things in extraordinary manner. So be different and do different things. Just do not waste your life living on society's opinions, on other people's approval and what they say to you, like go to school, get good grades, and get a safe, secure job. You cannot make a difference in the world just by doing little things in life. Upgrade yourself, learning new skills that requires in this digital age. It could be digital marketing, it could be social media influencers, it could be video creating, it could be public speaking, or it could be anything. So you have to do all the things in extraordinary fashion if you want extraordinary results out of your life. So let me share a story with you of a fisherman, a bunch of crabs. If you have heard the story of a bunch of crab, and if you don't know, then I just want to let you know what the story is all about. So there was a fisherman who went to the bank of the river just to catch some crabs with a bucket having no lid of it. And there was a passersby from that side when he was just catching crabs, and then passerby asked to the fisherman, hey, why don't you have a lid over this bucket? If you catch a crab and you put it into the bucket, then this crab can crawl up from the bucket outside and it can jump back into the river. So why don't you have a lid over this bucket? So the fisherman replied, no, I don't have to have a lid over this bucket. If I put just 1 crab in this bucket, then it can crawl up and it can come outside from the bucket and jump back into the river. But if I have a bunch of crab in this bucket, guess what happens? None of them can crawl up and come outside from the bucket. Why? Because if you understand the tendency of the crabs, if any of the crab starts come from the bucket, then there are some crabs they start pulling to that crab down to their level. So this is the tendency of crabs, a bunch of crabs. If you have a bunch of crab in the bucket, even though you don't have a lid on this bucket, we human being have this kind of tendency. If someone is trying to do something different, if someone is trying to push his limits, if someone is trying to thinking out of the box, then there are some people, most of the time they are your loved ones, they are your near and dear ones. It could be your friends, it could be your relatives, it could be your family members, and then they start pulling your leg down. Hey, why you are doing this? Why you are being special? Why don't you just get a job? Why don't you prepare for yourself for this job? Why don't you enroll yourself for this particular exam, for this particular university course, for this particular college course? So this kind of things happens, that if you try to level up, if you try to just push your limit, or just try to do something different, that there are some people near about you, they start pulling your leg down to their level, because they just don't want to be you exceptional, they just don't want to be you extraordinary. This is the kind of behavior, human behavior, that we have. And see, all the history makers, all the difference makers in the world, they are criticized over the time. It is not just about you.